What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, this stuff is going to change the way you guys trade. You're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to hit that bell. The bell will send out notifications for when I send out these videos every single day. This is our watch list for Wednesday, November 23rd. Like I said, I put these videos out for you guys every single day for free. We're going to go through a couple plays before I get started on that watch list, just because it's something I talk about in every video, and it's something that happened today, so I want to go over that with you guys. A couple things first. I'm on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold. You can go give me a follow there if you are on Twitter as well. Second, this screen that you see is TradingView. It's how I chart all my trades. It's how I put my triggers, my targets. It's how I set everything up, broadening formations, and it's what I base my trades off of. So if you're looking for a platform like this and you've never used TradingView before, there's a link in the description below, and that'll give you a free 30-day trial to the subscription-based services off of TradingView. They do have free versions, but you guys can try out their sub-services with the extra features free for 30 days, but you need to start by clicking on that link in the description below. So click on that link, get your free 30 days, and then if you decide to use the subscription service that they offer, then you'll get up to $30 off of that subscription service. So make sure you are checking out that link in the description below and getting your free 30-day trial. I have a Discord, Griswold Trading Discord. That link is in the description below. It's like 95% free. There is a Griswold Gold membership room in there. So a bunch of channels. It gives ad-free YouTube videos. It gives the top fives to the Griswold Gold members. It gives them the access to the live trading bots on SPY. There's a SPY room, and then there's another room with like Tesla, NEO, QQQ, DIA, a whole bunch of other ones. It gives you Strat setups on the 5, 15, 30, and 1 hour chart. So you can buy that stuff separately as well. It also includes a one-on-one with myself or multiple one-on-ones if you guys have personal or questions that you just want to address to me personally. We can set up one-on-ones within that membership as well. And there's a bunch of other really great things, including the Strat indicator, which I created for you guys. What I want to go through with you guys, we're going to get into the list in 2 seconds. We're going to go through 2 plays. The first one is SPY. So I always tell you guys, if we gap up in the mornings or gap down, meaning let's say we were taking this play, for instance, off of this right here, okay? Off of this top of this candle. It's not a setup, but let's say it was. Well, we opened right here. Okay, so that was our opening. We opened above that trigger point. So when that happens, I always tell you guys to play gap plays. And whoops. Let's do that. I always tell you guys to play the gap. So what that means is, and I've got 4 videos on this. I've got a full playlist on this for you guys. So what I always tell you guys to do in the playlist, and you guys can go check out those videos out when we're done. They'll be at the end of this video in the top right-hand corner. I always tell you guys to play the break of that 15-minute bar. Okay? So this is the bar that you would want to play off of. You want to play the break of that. So the break of the high or the low is what you want to play. So we move our trigger points to the high and the low of this first 15-minute candle on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so nothing happened. The second 15-minute bar opened and we stayed inside bar. So now what we do, you just move those trigger points to the high and low of that inside candle, and then this is what we get. It breaks out above and we hit targets here, and we move all the way up to here. And again, guys, this inside bar was given out in the Griswold paid room, the Griswold Gold members. This bar was given out. This setup right here where we triggered and targeted, that play was given out. This one right here where we moved up, that one was given out. Okay, so all these plays are given out for you guys in that SPY live trading bot room. So that's how you would play the 15-minute though, the gap. You take the first 15-minute bar and you look for the break. If it doesn't break and stays inside, you move your triggers to that inside bar. If this would have broken to the downside off of this inside bar, well, then we play it to the downside with puts. Okay, but that's how you play it. So that was SPY. Lows was part of our top five setups. So Lowe's had a double inside bar. If we go to the day, the daily list, there was a double inside bar. And again, you see here it gapped up. We opened way above the trigger price. And it ran, and that's what happens off of these double inside bars. We have these big, big moves. So again, we hop down to the 15-minute chart. Okay? And we wait for that first 15-minute bar, which was right here. And then we put our triggers to the high, to the low. Sorry, let's change that to yellow. To the low of that candle and the high of that candle. So we didn't break the low, we break the high. So at this point, guys, you can get in that trade. We are now in force on that trade. We've broken through the trigger, and this thing continued to run. So at the point where we jumped in at 212.48, it ran without a reversal. Okay, two up, inside bar. It's consolidating bar. Two up, two up, two up, two up red, but it was still a two up. Then another two up, then another two up, and we finally are out of that trade here at 215.01. So 212 to 215.01, a really, really good trade on lows. Okay, that's how you play the gaps. There's three or four full videos for you guys to look at the end of this video. Like I said, top right hand corner, so make sure you're checking those out. Let's get into the playlist, guys. We'll switch back to the daily. And NEO is here because we have an inside bar on NEO. Okay, and when we have inside bars, it's an actionable signal. It's a high probability play. It's something that I tell newcomers or people who are struggling is what they should look for. So that's what we've got on NEO here. Inside bar. And let me explain inside bars or one bars. You see these candlestick numbers. That's part of the indicator that I created for you guys. The fact that the inside bar is painted yellow, that's part of the same indicator. The IB tabs, part of the same indicator. This white bar, this outside bar with the OB tab, same indicator. I've wrapped all of these indicators into one indicator for you guys. This time frame continuity, one indicator. It's all part of the same thing. You can purchase it separately, or it comes with a Griswold Gold membership. Inside bars, guys. So when you have that membership, or you have just the indicator, the Griswold Strat indicator, and you see these yellow bars, I want you guys to think of a spring becoming compacted, loaded, pressed down. Imagine that. The spring getting pressed down, and when you let go of it, when the mechanism releases it, you're expecting those coils to spring up or down. And that's exactly what we look for off of these inside bars. And you can see this one, it gapped, but it was a huge breakdown. This one, breakdown. Actually, this one gapped as well. So you would have had to play the gap, but it broke down way below that inside bar. This one, outside bar, wouldn't have really worked for us. But the probabilities, and that's what we always trade, guys. We are trading probabilities. When we look at a trade, when we look at a strategy, it's all probability based. And so probabilities off of inside bars tell us, yes, we tend to have these big jumps. And you can just see it's continuous. Every single inside bar, almost. Even this one, nice run up, okay? There was one out of here that didn't really have a springboard-like jump. Okay, here's another one. It triggered, it hit targets. It did its job. Here's another one. Triggered, hit targets. Here's another one. Triggered, hit targets. Okay, so they are very, very predictable. And when we look at that, the probabilities of this happening again are very, very high. So with these inside bars, guys, we look for it to break. And again, if it gaps, we know how to play the gaps now. I showed you guys at the beginning of this video, and they'll show you again at the end with the playlist. Okay, so we look for calls off of this thing at $10.10, and I don't have the targets marked out, but we can do it together right there, and I make my targets green, like so. There's target high, there's target low. So puts at 975, calls at 10.10. Guys, if we trend down on this, we've got full time frame continuity to the downside. We are already 2 down on the week. That's what that pink line represents. Here's Tuesday's bar. Here's Monday's bar. We're 2 down on the week. So we can look for a continuation to the downside on this as well, or we can look for a break to the upside. And when I day trade, I really only need this hourly and this daily in the same direction. If I have more, that's higher probability. It's a bonus. It means the trade has a higher probability of working out in my favor. And I'll tell you what, I don't usually give you guys top 5 plays on here. They're usually reserved for the Griswold Gold members. Neo's going to be on that top 5. It always is when there's a setup. Okay, so BAC is up next. BAC is still stuck on an inside bar in the week. I know this because we haven't broken through these 2 pink lines. Okay, those 2 pink lines represent the inside bar from last week, and we still haven't broken through that. And we're looking to break through that in some way or another, either to the high side or low side. Right now, we've got a 2 up that finished red. So I've got a inverse hammer or a shooter candle that's red. It's a bearish setup. It's an actionable signal. Shooter candles are actionable. Inside bars are actionable signals, and hammer candles, which is the reverse of this, with the body at the top and the wick at the bottom. Those 3 are actionable signals. So we have a 2 up red shooter candle. We're looking for puts at 37.43. First target at 37.06. Looking to possibly break out at some point of this inside bar hold that BAC has on it. We'll move to Pfizer. Pfizer has a... Actually, I'm going to take... Why did I have Pfizer on here? Well, worst case scenario, guys. Let's look at Pfizer like this. Okay, 2-2 continuations. I know a lot of stratters don't like the 2-2 continuations, but we have full time frame continuity in our favor on Pfizer. Okay, off of this hammer candle right here, we trended up. We can look for a continuation here if we like. Calls at 49.25 and first targets at 49.53 for the 2-2 continuation. Apple had a 2 down that finished green. So again, it's an outside bar. So an outside bar, and again, I don't normally put outside bars on here, but we're going to look for a continuation on Apple as well with calls at 150.42, first targets at 152.70 off of this outside bar that finished green on the day. American Airlines, 2 down, green, hammer candle. Look at this big long wick. It means there's a lot of buyers here that push this thing all the way back up into this range. Opened, trended down, the buyers bought it back up. Okay, so calls at 14.03, first targets at the top of the preceding wick. That's how we mark it. So the next one goes to the top of the next preceding wick, and so on and so forth. So calls at 14.03 on American Airlines. Airbnb is next. So Airbnb had a 2 down that finished green. And I'm just going to go into this a little bit here. 2 down green. A 2 is a directional candle. A 2 down means we broke only the low side of the previous candle, which is this red candle right here. We only broke the low side of that. But we finished green. So that tells me there's probability, again, not completely true facts, but a high probability that we trend back up to the upside off of this. So we can look for calls at 95.36. If we come back up through this pink line and hit targets, that would push the week to green. Okay, so we'd have the hourly, the daily, and the weekly all in our favor. AFRM, inside bar on AFRM. Okay, and it's a pretty tight inside bar. You see it's very, very small. And I show this sometimes, but this is essentially what the inside bar is showing us. A reverse broadening formation, if you want to call it that. Okay, and we have that. We're looking, this little spot here probably can't contain much of a candle. So we're looking for a breakout to the upside or the downside. Okay, that's how that stuff works. And again, you know about the inside bars, the spring, the coiling, the explosions. To one side or the other, we can look for calls at 13.11, puts at 12.38, and again, full time frame continuity to the downside on AFRM. Okay, and I'm just looking here. This right here looks like the all-time lows on AFRM. So I would be very cautious again. If we trend down and hit that, we would look for this to reverse back up off of the all-time lows, okay? Possibility, probability, okay? But that's what I would be looking for, and that's the only time I would go against time frame continuity if we were at all-time highs or all-time lows, and that's basically the perfect setup is what we're looking at there on AFRM. We move on to AMC, also an inside bar. So calls at 751, puts at 707. You're looking for the prices I'm calling out. They're right on the right-hand side here. This yellow, 751. This yellow, 707. 697 is for us to go 2 up on the quarterly, which we are already. The pink line is for our weekly setups. Okay, Amazon, AMZN, inside bar, hammer candle. 2 actionable signals set up there. Calls at 93.35, puts at 90.87 on Amazon. BBBY, that's Bed Bath & Beyond. Another tight little inside bar on Bed Bath & Beyond. Again, outside of this day and this hourly, we are red everywhere. There's sellers across the board except for today and on the last hour. So again, we can look for puts at $3.11. That's that trigger. Or calls at 324, and the targets are marked out for us on Bed Bath & Beyond. Datadog, D-Dog. Okay, this is one that I'm looking at to continue the trend downwards. We're red right across the board, guys. Time frame continuity is pushing this thing to the downside. Yes, we have a hammer candle, but I'm going to look for this to have a continuation to the downside. We're 2 down on the week here already. We are 2 down on the quarterly already. So I would look for this thing to break this trigger here at 70.47. And this is actually a good example because that is where I'm putting my green line. And you might say, Clark, why is it at the top? It's supposed to be at the bottom. Normally it's at the bottom when we look at puts. This time, because there's no candle in between this trigger and this target. This spot is empty from here to here. So that's what we call a gap. We've talked about it plenty today already. When we have that gap, in order to fill that gap, we have to hit this first target at the top of the candle. Then our second target would be the bottom of that same candle, okay? So target 1, target 2. Guys, if you like this stuff, if it's helping you out, make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribing so you get more of this information when I send it out every single day. Let's look at DraftKings with this inside bar hammer candle. Calls at 14.70, puts at 13.97. Targets are marked out for you guys accordingly. I will mention we are at the top of a broadening formation. We talked about it on Friday as well before this trended down. I said we're 2 up red, top of a broadening formation. Look for it to trend down. It's exactly what it did. We're going to look for this to continue to trend to the downside. And guys, this broadening formation, like I said in the Friday video, goes all the way back to June. Higher highs, lower lows, and lower lows. So does DraftKings get down to $6? It might not. We might have to end up doing something along the lines of that. Okay, so we might be looking to trend down to this $10 range here. 9.75 range before it bounces back. Sorry, Cyberdog, it doesn't bounce. Tags the bottom of that broadening formation and has a trend reversal back to the upside. No bouncing, according to Jermaine Cyberdog, the Strat soldier. Fubo has an inside bar, inverse hammer, or shooter candle. Fubo is already sitting at 271. I'm not sure how much lower this thing is going to go, but we have full time frame continuity to the downside. Are we at all-time? We're not even at all-time lows here. So we'll see how Fubo plays out. You can take calls at 282, puts at $2.69 on Fubo. GME has a 2 down green. We're going to look for calls at 26.45. We can mark out those first targets together, and it's got good range at 27.83. That's good magnitude. It's got meat on the bones, as I like to say, meaning there's a lot of room from this trigger to this target. Okay, so a lot of room for it to move. The plays that I don't like necessarily, I'll see if we find one. If one pops up here, I'll show you guys. So Google, 2 down green, hammer candle, calls at 97.55. We will look for first and second targets off of this actionable signal, that 2 down green off of Google. Moderna. So this is one we could maybe look at that I was mentioning a couple plays back. Okay, so Moderna does have a hammer candle. It's a 2 down, finish green, hammer candle. We can look for calls on this at 179.83. But what we've got is this target. There's not a lot of room there. It looks like about $1. So I guess there is a fair amount of room, but what I want to mention to you guys, and I can show it to you guys here, the way that we look at this. A lot of times what happens, let's say we open up here, okay, and we start trending up, trending up, trending up. We hit that target, okay, so we've hit that target. Now what happens is, I can't show you because there's no wick that's going to happen here, but what will happen a lot of times is after we hit that target, this will start to trend down, okay, and it'll start reversing the other way. And you have to imagine there's a wick left there, but it'll start trending down, and we will never see that target on that day again. Okay, it hits that target, it reverses, and then we're done. There's nothing left there for us. So it's a problem with traders that people have, is they don't take their profits when we hit targets and it reverses. And that's, somebody asked me about the 5-minute chart. People have a tough time on the 5-minute chart because you can hit your targets within 30 seconds, but they're hoping for more. So when it reverses through, they're like, it might continue up. Yeah, but what if it doesn't? Okay, then you lost all your profit. So this is a game of managing risk. And call it a game, call it a business. I call it a business. Your number one priority and job as a trader is to manage that risk. So when you hit your targets and it starts coming back through that target, you better be prepared to sell. Regardless of whether it runs up or not, you need to be happy with that profit at 5%, 50%, whatever it is. But if it reverses back through that target, take your profit and move on to the next trade. You did your job as a trader. You hit your triggers, you hit your targets, and you're out, and you move on to the next one. You see another day, okay? Too many people don't understand that concept, and they try and let their they let their, how do I say this? They don't, it's a little bit of a different concept, but they're hoping that it will go back up to that point. And when you start hoping and you turn those greens into reds, they become bigger losses because you're saying, should have been up there before, and it's not. And you're not listening to your rules. And you'll let those red candles run as far as they'll run before you guys cut them, because you're hoping that it goes back up. And we can't rely on hope. We have to rely on the trades and the strategies that we've been taught and that we've been shown. And that'll be, it's tough, guys. I know it's tough, but you really, really have to become, that's the number one thing that you have to become really, really good at is protecting that capital, managing that risk, and letting the candlesticks do the jobs that they're telling you they're supposed to do, and listening to those candlesticks. Okay, they're all telling a story. You just have to be able to listen to what that story is. Okay, so we'll move on to Microsoft. Microsoft has a outside bar in a hammer candle. So we are still sitting inside bar on the week. I've got those two pink lines telling me that. I've also got this yellow circle on the Strat indicator that I've created telling me that we are still in an inside bar. So we're looking for a break to the high off of this hammer candle. And if we hit triggers here, guys, we've just gone up 2 up on the week. Okay, so we might be able to hold that a little longer. We've got time frame continuity in our favor. So let's look for calls on Microsoft at 245.31. Netflix, 2 down, green, hammer candle. We're going to look for calls at 286.98. I have no targets marked there, but let's do it together at 291.87. That's that green bar right there giving me that number. Plug Power has an inside bar, so PLUG. We can look for calls at 15.31, puts at 14.88. We'll give you a target to the downside. This is another one of those plays that I'm talking about. There's not a whole bunch of meat here. So we very well might open, trend down, hit that target, and come back through. Now, we might not. We might just have a continuation through, but you need to follow what the candles, what the targets, what the triggers are all telling us. If you don't know, at the end of this video, guys, there's a playlist, a learning tool playlist in the bottom right. The gap plays are in the top right. Learning tools are in the bottom right. We go through a lot of stuff in those videos, and they're all for you guys to help you become more profitable, more consistent. Roblox, also an inside bar. We can look for calls at $31.12. First target's marked out. Puts, I would rather see because of the time frame continuity, and we potentially have a better trade there. Puts at $29.72. Roku, 2 down green. We'll look for calls there at 54.47. Tesla, my Esla. Tesla, 2 down green. Little bit of a hammer candle there. We'll look for calls at 170.92, and first target a $6 move up to 176.77. Guys, again, if you like the videos, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Get in on that Discord. Let's learn and earn together. Get in on the Griswold Gold membership for the top 5s, the one-on-ones, the trading bots, the Strat indicator, everything that comes with it. You won't be disappointed. It will help you in your trading journey. And good luck, guys. Good luck trading on Wednesday. I wish you guys nothing but the best. If you have questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. And we will see you guys all on the next one. Bye-bye.